Jerry is in here. The website of the day, PointsMap.com. Told you all that earlier this morning, and this is not just about Riverbend. We actually talked about this last year. The festival had added this technology that Jerry is one of the many hats he wears is this thing, but really it's more about just how this technology is now just taken off and other places where it can be used. And if you go to PointsMap.com, you'll see what it's all about. It's kind of like a personal GPS system for like you have in your car and you're trying to get from Orlando to South Beach or whatever, and it's telling you where to go. And in that case, it would say toll road, toll road, toll road. But this is more for you when you're just you in your ambulatory. Festivals, I think, may be on the pioneer fringe for doing it because some of these things are massive. We're big. Bonnaroo's big. Some of them are even big. Coachella, you'll go wandering in the desert and you'll die out there. And so they've utilized it. But now Jerry's company has actually set one up down in the park, Chickamauga Park. And there are things that are hidden around every oak tree, around every little path that looks like only deer use it. You'll find interesting monuments and little tidbits of information down there. And the one that really got my attention, though, was when we were first talking about this, as he said, one of the more recent ones, and this one actually did make the news a couple of weeks ago, was Erlanger, the hospital. And I just went, man, I flashed back to both of my son's births and how often I got lost over a short period of time. And all the times I went to visit Wally in the hospital, there was never a time I got to the room and back out again without going into wander mode. And so that makes more sense than anything. Now, Jerry he's doing something right now, and he's setting something up, and I want you guys to do this, and we'll take another commercial break and give you guys a second. I just sent it to Brian as well. And what it is, it's very simple instructions on how you can jump online very quickly in the course of a commercial break, and you'll actually be able to see what Jerry is doing on the computer and here in the studio. And that makes visual aids work a little bit better. I'm not Mr. Technology myself, but it makes sense to me, instead of me describing what's going on, if you could actually see it on your screen. Now, if you've got a second, Jerry, I know you're still pumping over there, but I mean, what should people do? I know I've got the list here, and I could read it, or I think you could probably read it and make more sense.
Sure. I'm setting it up right now, so if you just open your browser and go to join.me/955 334-390.
And that's up on our Facebook page right now, by the way. That's up on our Facebook. So join.me, not a com, join.me / and every time you do this, and I've actually used this before, I've got my friend who helps me with my editing, with my GoPro, and we've done this, /955 334 390, and you'll actually be able to see on your computer what he's doing on the one that we have here in the studio. Now, I did warn him. He is working with the Lightbright 2000, one of the world's slowest computers. Not as slow as the one in the hallway, but it's not what he's probably used to. But we'll come back and we'll talk about how this is going to help you in your life in various ways and places. And maybe you might actually even be able to utilize it yourself. With all the various events we got coming up, from bike races to trail races to walks and thons and everything else, why not? On with us. So now, Jerry Waddell in here with video ideas, and we're talking about PointsMap, today's website of the day, PointsMap.com, and we've set up this way that you can actually see what he's doing on his computer. And I'll say it one more time, just real quick, and then we'll move on. If you go to, on your computer, your browser, just go to join.me /955 334 390 955 334 390, and you'll actually be able to see what he's doing right here at this desktop. It's pretty cool stuff. Now that we're going, the original idea, PointsMap, that's you. The concept has been around for a while, coming on strong for the last 4 or 5 years. Last year, you convinced a very hard-to-convince group of people, friends of the festival, to use it down at Riverbend. And I noticed, of course, as I wandered through the festival site that I saw these, not barcodes, what do you call those things?
QR codes.
QR codes, those things that look like you're supposed to see the picture of Jesus in the mountains in there somewhere, and three-dimensional things. And you would take, I guess, your smartphone and just go zip, and it would tell you where you were.
Right.
And you said, well, where do I want to go? I want to go see the North Mississippi All-Stars. Well, they're not playing this year. You should be SOL. You have to wait for the Brewfest. But it would give you directions there. It would give you bio on the band.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's technology that I could actually see being useful.
Yeah, it's actually amazing, and it's pretty easy to find your way around outside because the GPS on your phone can locate you and show you where you are with a little dot on your phone as you move.
Yes.
But when you go inside of a building, it's a totally different story. The GPS may know that you're in the building, but it doesn't know whether you're on the first floor, the fifth floor, the 10th floor,
it just
or
can't give you vertical information.
Yeah, so what we did especially at Erlanger is we have QR codes all over the place. So if you walk into Erlanger and go to the main information desk in the medical mall and scan the QR code, it'll open up, show you a picture of where you're standing, show you the first floor map.
And as you turn, it will turn.
It actually shows you the map, and then you can select where you want to go. Like on the interface here, I'm selecting.
Now, for those of you who are watching, you're seeing what's happening.
Right.
I'm just going to peer over. I'm going to get off mine and just look at what he's doing. You describe it.
Right. So we'll give some directions inside of there as to where you might want to go. So if I click on Children's Info Desk, it gets friendly turn-by-turn directions, things like standing at the medical mall desk with your back to Starbucks, turn right, go toward the red sculpture, past the fish aquarium, all of this kind of information. And then it also shows you an actual path on the map.
I know. Here, I'm going to give you a real life example here. Let's just say I'm going to go to Erlanger and say, hey, I need to go to the emergency room and go get, seen about my burn. But I park on the wrong side because I'm an idiot and I've got adrenaline pumping through me. So you could actually say, okay, you're parked on the wrong side. Here is where you're going to go. This is how you get to the ER.
Erlanger's going to have QR codes actually in all the parking lots, too, that'll open this up on your phone, and you have a map of all 5 of the floors. Now, before you go, you can go to the desktop and visit this PointsMap /Erlanger, and you can type in where you want to go. So if, like you said, the emergency room or the cath lab or whatever, then it'll actually tell you where to park. It'll tell you which entrance to come in, which elevator to take to go directly to that location.
Which mean nurse to avoid.
Before you go.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So this is that's the new part of this inside the buildings, vertical information. Anybody who's got any questions on this? I know that a lot of you folks are out there. You've been using this. You've seen it used elsewhere. I just saw a very intriguing headline shoot across the screen, by the way. Mount Everest. We were talking about Everest earlier this week with the legendary Conrad Anker. I did not know it was illegal to broadcast from Everest. Did y'all know that? Some guy did a radio broadcast from Everest the same way I did from Orizaba down in Mexico, and he broke both Tibetan, Chinese, and Nepalese law, and he's in serious trouble. But, the folks are using that stuff now on Everest because you get in a whiteout, and it will still give you at least some idea of which direction you ought to be going to get to base camp. We just had the Knox Nuga rally, where they had the baton was actually a GPS tracker that they would slap on the backs of the people on their little camelbacks, their hydration, systems on their backs, and so you could see them in real time. We watched Ben Freeberg go down the Yukon as he set that Guinness Book of World Records. In 24 hours, the distance traveled. So this stuff is it's blowing up.
It is. It's amazing what you can do. And, hey, you can watch somebody navigating down a river, climbing somewhere. And this uses Google Map technology. So everything that Google Maps does, PointsMap is able to do. The key is it allows you to take Google Maps and put a layer over top of it with your own information on that, be it a corporate, be it a festival, an event, or a hospital, or a golf course, or a resort. So you can actually map and find your way around. And it's very user-friendly.
So that's really, so you're starting with Google Map technology, and then you're taking your own information and you're adding layer upon layer upon layer.
Exactly.
And it depends on you as to how much information you want to give out. Like I said, if we want band bios and MP3s, you could do that. Or if you just want, hey, dummy, they're here on this stage, it could be that.
Right, exactly.
Ken is on the line with us, and we got Jerry Waddell and PointsMap.com, the website of the day today. And Ken, good morning to you.
How's it going, Gus?
Going very well.
I was just, the app that y'all were talking about, would you have to gather all the information about elevators and all that before you went in? Because every time I went in a hospital or a building, I lose service.
Yeah, actually, what you can do is we have a function to preload the map on your mobile phone. So if you know you're going into Erlanger, you can actually go into the help, preload everything on the inside maps, and then you can actually go into airplane mode at that point. And it doesn't matter whether you have connection; you can find your way around.
So now you've just got a map system inside your electronic map system inside your hand.
Correct.
Very cool. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it very much. All right, give me an idea. All right, Chickamauga Battlefield makes perfect sense. All right, because you've got plaques, you've got markers, you've got, and again, I didn't even know Nathan Bedford Forrest was in the Battle of Chickamauga until I stumbled up on a marker down there one day. And so there's always something new to learn. The more you get out and walk, ride, hit the trails around here, the more you're going to discover the real history of where we are. We are in a place that is steeped in history. I mean, we're really up there, as far as written history, we're not New Orleans, but as far as human history, we are. I mean, we go way back. What would be another good application? What's one that just right off the top of your head you think, I wish I could get that? That would be a good.
There's so many locations where I've been since I know what PointsMap can do, and I'm traveling around.
So you're always thinking, I could do something with that.
Yeah, and especially when people visit battlefields, a lot of times they'll want to look for a particular regiment, like the Illinois Regiment or something like that, because their grandfather or someone in their family served there, and they want to go and actually look at
Dick Cheney did.
Exactly, and say, I'm standing on the exact spot where my grandfather or my great-grandfather, somebody like that, actually fought in the Civil War. So it's an incredible way to do that. And you can read about the troop movements. You can see what happens. You can link to videos. So while you're actually standing there, you can click on a point, and if there's a video attached, you can watch a video on your phone about the battle. Or maybe it would be a tour that someone is giving you by one of the rangers that tells you some specific information about it. It's a great tool to use even in museums. We're beginning to market it to museums where when you're standing in front of a painting, you can get the thing in museums now where you have a little audio guide, so you type in a number and it reads it. But you could be standing there on your phone and you could actually touch a button on your phone, see where you are in the museum, and also find information about a painting, maybe watch a video about the artist, about the time when it was done and the influences. There's just so many uses for this that puts this world of technology right in your hand related to where you're standing and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's as a matter of fact, for those of you who ever go down and have used that system at the aquarium, if for whatever reason you, inadvertently, by mistake, or just because people in your party or you yourself are bilingual, when you went to the Spanish, that's Rebecca's voice you're hearing doing that. And that, I remember the old style, you had to get the big, funky headphones that marked you as a geeky tourist. You don't have to do that anymore. I'm thinking, take, for example, we've been talking about the outdoors so much lately and what we've got vested in the outdoor tourism and the people that are coming into town. The Tennessee Wall is famous. That's that big bluff that runs down the entire length of River Canyon Road, starting up at Suck Creek. It's where Prentice Cooper falls off down into the Tennessee River Valley, and it has been climbed steadily for about 4 decades, 3 decades hard, and they still have just innumerable ascents and descents and routes that have not been touched. But the ones that are known, you could map that out, and that way somebody would know exactly where to park, how far it was going to be, and even the preferred route up the mountain.
Exactly. You can draw, PointsMaps allows you to draw lines, which can be trails. So you could mark biking trails, you could put hiking trails, you could put all kinds of information on there on points on the trail. So you could show highlights of the trail. This is a great overlook here. This is a hill, so this is very tough to climb, and this is a great path up the rock. You could actually take a picture of the rock for rock climbers, put that on there, and show a line up the rock to show the best path with all the handholds to be able to climb.
Here's an idea. We'll do one for Rock City, and we'll actually show you the point over in North Carolina and South Carolina and Kentucky and Ohio and Illinois that you can supposedly see. That way we can prove that you can see 7 states. All right? Don't go anywhere. I'm going to come back. I'm going to hit you with kind of a what-if question, all right? I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. But I can't help it. I'm thinking about the rivers. The Ocoee, as many times as I've been down, and I can paddle from top to bottom. There's a couple of places I don't particularly care for. I'll cheat when I get a chance. Sometimes I'll bust. I hate double suck. I hate it. I hate grumpies. It'd be nice to know, especially for newcomers, if they could look and know exactly when that bad boy is coming up. Now, I know my phone has got the protective device around it that it is waterproof, and you can get, a cheaper phone that naturally, that is made for going in the water or some sort of device. But it could give you the warning, go left, go right, cheat route, and make sure you don't get eaten up by some big hydraulic. That would be very worthwhile.
Yeah, you could actually draw paths down the river to show if you want to take a difficult path or an advanced path, follow this particular path down there. If you want an easy run, take this kind of a run. Another interesting thing is you could map things underneath the river for fishermen, for example. They want to fish where there's some brush so that some of the fish are in there. So you can't see that from the top of the river. But if you knew of a great fishing spot, you could actually log into PointsMap and go in and put a point right in the middle of the river, right where you are at those GPS coordinates, and people would know this is a great place
and
to
here's
fish.
The sunken barge that we cut loose because we finally got tired of looking at it, and now it's an artificial reef, and you can go fish on it.
Exactly.
That'll be later on this summer. Very quickly now, Jerry, if you would, Jerry Waddell, the website of the day today brought to you by Riverside Beverage Company, PointsMap.com. 2 quick questions, and these are hypothetical, somewhat problematic for some people. Right now, you have to swipe the code, whatever it is, and to let it know. But soon, I'm sure that there will be the technology where your phone will just know. You don't have to swipe it. It'll go by. And at that point, you get into that. Maybe I don't want everybody to know.
Right.
Other people who can go and join.me and see where I am.
Exactly.
And so that kind of worries me. And just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the technology is changing so much. It's amazing now, just with Google alone, to go to the satellite view and just see things that you thought you'd never be able to see. And it's changing at such a rapid pace. There's a lot of things out there that are very scary about with drone technology, knowing that something could be flying unseen in the air.
I don't want the dot.
Right, and looking down at you and watching what you're doing. But it offers a lot more positives, I think, than it does the negatives, because it's allowed us to do things that we've never been able to do before. See things, visit places, take virtual tours.
I had yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was hoping we might be able to do kind of a joint website of the day today, hackforchange.org. That was the young man that was in here, and they're doing this hackers thing this weekend. And in their viewpoint, hackers, that doesn't mean bad. That just means they're grabbing information and making it available to you. And public information, using public information, arrest records, incident reports, the people who are sex offenders. You could, and you know that nobody is going to do this officially for us in the city, but using this kind of thing, you could actually do that much talked about, much conjectured map of Chattanooga, the places you might want to avoid. And I'm not saying that you're going to do it, but this technology would be pretty darn good at it. It could even give you an alarm if you started heading into the double, red, triple X, don't do it zone, you know. And that's something that, now that I could see that being put to use. It might have to be somewhat pirated, but, that could come into play. So you get out of Chattanooga, just any city, New Orleans. You're 1 block away from trouble. You're having a good time. Miami, same thing. You're right in the middle of everything, and all of a sudden, you go around the corner, and it's Night of the Living Dead going to skin you alive drug dealer guys. That'd be good stuff to have.
Absolutely. One of the things we map is we can map conferences and special events and trade shows. And for example, there was a trade show here in Chattanooga, and they used our PointsMap to map it, and they only put about 4 hotels down around the convention center down there. Now, there's lots of hotels down there, but those 4 particular hotels were one that were giving discounts to everybody that was attending that. And if you're mapping something that people are going to visit, if they go to Google and search for hotels, they'll find hundreds of hotels around where you are. Some of them are not desirable. So you can actually just put the ones on your map that you know are good hotels.
You could have the bed bug icon.
Absolutely.
You could have the
avoid these.
The parking lot hooker icon.
That's right. Yeah.
So and all that stuff. All right. Well, man, I'm impressed. I'm not a user of the technology the way a lot of folks are. I know I will be, I guess, one day, kicking and screaming. But sometimes it makes sense to me, and this stuff makes more sense than most. some of the apps just are stupid. Let's get down to it. This one does make sense. So again, this year at Riverbend, the Erlanger now, the park and other places. Is there anything new? Anything that you're working on right now?
We're basically doing a lot of new technology inside of Riverbend and being able to share where you are with other people and things like that. So there'll be a lot of new stuff for next year. You can go to PointsMap.com, find my information on there, contact me if you have any questions. We'd love to help you.
Real quick, very, very quick. Now, could I send out a false signal to tell people I'm someplace where I'm not so they leave me the hell alone?
There's some programs that actually can do that.
I'm going to talk to you about that.
There you go.
Yeah.